All right, we are officially live. Hello, everybody. We are just waiting a few more seconds to make sure everybody has a chance to jump in here that wants to. I hope everyone's doing well today. I do want to mention we have on the Q&A side, right to the left of that, the Docs button, you can access a couple of our Help Center resources right from there. One of them is the FAQ and the other is an overview article about Report Builder. The FAQ is one that we update after each of these sessions based on the questions we receive, so it's got a lot of helpful information in there. With that, I think I'll just go ahead and get started with you guys. Hello, my name is Michelle McCall. I am a Customer Enablement Manager here at Daxko. Our goal for today's session is to get you started with Report Builder so that you can get the data you need out of Daxko Operations and improve and continue your workflows that you use custom reports for today. Before we begin, if you do have any questions along the way, you can drop those for us in that Q&A section. We have a team backstage that is actively monitoring those questions that come in, and we will be saving some time at the end of the session to go over those. And don't worry, if we aren't able to get to your question in the session today, we do have all of the ones that were sent in saved on our end so that we can go over those afterwards, make sure they get answered, and provide updates to our FAQ document. That'll be in the Help Center. I do want to mention again, for anyone that wasn't here at the time yet, in that doc section right next to the Q&A, you can go to the FAQ by clicking on it right there, and you can bookmark it for later. Very easy to revisit that way. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. Our agenda for today, the first thing we'll do is go over a few FAQs that we had received in our previous sessions. And then we will jump into a quick overview of Report Builder, what's changing, going over a little bit of terminology before we jump into the live demo and training. And then that last section will just be going over the questions we receive in the session today. So for that initial FAQ from our previous sessions, I want to preface this by saying that we really appreciate all the feedback we've been getting. Please do continue to send in that feedback for us. It is very, very helpful. When does access to custom reports go away? That will be October 15th of this year. After that date, access to custom reports and the scheduled reports that are set up within custom reports will stop. Starting to rebuild any specific custom reports that you'd like to continue using as soon as possible would be your best option for making sure you guys are prepared for the transition. There is a tool that I'll talk about more in just a second that will help you even after custom reports is gone to rebuild those, but we'll go over that in just a second. Were my reports automatically migrated? We've migrated most of your commonly used custom reports. Those would be the global reports from the custom reports. It would be the top 20 that are most commonly used across all Daxko Operations clients. Those have been migrated into the standard reports folder of Report Builder. Any others besides those that are in the standard reports folder would need to be rebuilt by your organization, just any that you specifically use, because those top 20 are based on the most commonly used across all ops clients from global reports. Will my report data be lost? No, none of the data itself will be gone. We still have the data. We also have preserved the table and column names from the custom reports, and that can be accessed. This is that tool I was mentioning. It's called the report mapping tool, and you can access it in the standard reports folder of Report Builder. That tool will continue to be available after that October 15th date, and it has those preserved table and column names from custom reports. So you can continue to reference those even after custom reports is gone if you're needing to rebuild something after that date. Who rebuilds the reports? That would be your team at your organization, but that is not without support. The report mapping tool that I was talking about in the standard reports folder is one of the best tools you can use when rebuilding reports from custom reports. It maps to custom reports in their table and column equivalents for Report Builder. We also have training webinars such as these. We have more specific ones coming up. These first few are more of an overview, but we have some more specific deep dives coming up in future enablement sessions. We also have practice exercises, knowledge articles, and other resources that we will continue to add to in the Help Center. And I will just very quickly show you guys how to find those in the Help Center. Let me share real quick for you guys. Actually, I'll do that at the end. If Lauren, backstage, can you remind me of that at the end to show them how to find those resources? That'll just be a little bit easier, I think. So we'll just do that. We won't forget. How long does rebuilding take? Most reports can be rebuilt in 10 minutes or less within Report Builder. Coming in with a plan, a clear picture of what you're wanting to rebuild will be the thing that makes most of the difference in terms of that rebuild time is just planning beforehand. What do you want to pull with this report? What filters are you going to need? Having that in mind beforehand makes the biggest difference in terms of the time it takes to rebuild. Have there been data accuracy issues? There were some known issues, mostly in the membership and member data topics, and those have been fixed. So if you see something that's off, please let us know, submit a ticket to our customer service team. It is our top priority right now during this transition to escalate and take care of any issues that pop up as quickly as possible. So we have also gotten some questions about performance being slower than expected in Report Builder, and the team has taken very strong note of that, and they have been actively optimizing Report Builder to improve those load times, and there have been several improvements already made, and they are continuing that effort as well. So it will just continue to get better. I also wanted to mention scheduled delivery for larger reports is very, very helpful. If it's a report that is just pulling in a lot of data from a lot of different tables, or if it's one that you just need to run very frequently, like once a day or more than once a day, scheduling that report out is the best way to get access to it on a regular cadence and without having to wait for it to load. The schedule feature, it will not time out when it's loading the report to send to you for that schedule. So it will just continue to load in the background until it's ready, and then it will send, and you don't have to worry about waiting for it at all. So now, what is changing? Report Builder is the new reporting experience in Daxko Operations starting now. It will replace custom reports. It offers a faster and easier way to build reports from a beginner's perspective. If you're a beginner for custom reports and Report Builder, I would say Report Builder is probably the easier one to pick up just because the user interface is a lot simpler than custom reports. And that was one of the key changes that we were focusing on, was making sure the interface was a lot easier for a beginner to step into as compared to custom reports. Give me just one moment. Another one of the key changes is faster data refresh cycles. We also have more historical data available in Report Builder. There are built-in dashboards, automations, and easier report organization and discovery. And we're going to get into some details of those in just a second as well. I do want to mention that right now, custom reports is still available until that October 15th date. So right now is the best time to rebuild anything you'd like to rebuild, because you can still access all the details in custom reports right now. And seeing both side by side can be helpful. It was for me, at least. So what is new for users? Users can build and manage reports with dashboards now. There are pivot tables in Report Builder. Custom calculations are still there. They work a little bit differently. They're more like formulas in Excel or Google Sheets now. Report and folder access controls. There's a way to favorite reports to a special favorite section. And of course, scheduled email delivery and export options. And now we'll get into some of those details of the changes for you guys. So the data refresh for custom reports, of course, is overnight, but for Report Builder, it's about every 15 minutes. So it's a lot more frequent in that data refresh. The historical data also goes back a lot further. For custom reports, it's about 9 months, whereas for Report Builder, it goes back multiple years. The performance in custom reports was typically pretty slow, whereas Report Builder is typically faster, and they are working on making it even faster than it is now. We also have the user interface in custom reports. It was pretty complex, especially if you were a beginner in custom reports. It could be a bit confusing to jump in there. Whereas in Report Builder, they have made a big focus, the user interface, to make it a lot more beginner friendly to be able to jump into it. So now we're going to go over some key terms before we get into the live demo. A reporting topic is the first thing you're going to select when you're starting a new report. You select the topic, and then that will show you all of the tables and fields that are available within that topic to work with. So a single report can have multiple queries, and one query will only use one topic. But the topics, many of them include a wide range of tables. So you choose the topic first, and then that will expose all of your options. The table is a collection of fields that are organized by subject. A table can exist in multiple topics, and you can combine tables in a report into one query, so long as they're part of the same topic. And a field is a data point within a table, sort of like member ID is an example of a field. Date of birth is an example of a field. Those are individual data points that live within the tables. And you would select the fields from this field picker here on the left side of the screenshot. You would select the field, just click on it to add it as a column in your report. You can also add them as filters and other things. A couple more key terms. We have the workbook and the dashboard. The workbook is where you identify the data that you want to show in your report, the columns, the filters, the initial filters, I should say. You can also add filters in the dashboard. We'll get into that. So the workbook is where you initially start. When you're first building the report, the workbook's where you'll be. You select the columns you want to show. You can choose to view it as a table or a chart, and you can format and manipulate that data within the workbook. Whereas the dashboard is more so where you visualize the data. This is also where you would add additional filters that you want to be able to customize every time you run the report. You'd add those in the dashboard. Report Builder offers charting that is great to view in the dashboard because it allows you to view multiple queries side by side and kind of compare data that way. So it's great for visualizations. This is an example of a workbook. You can see we have the field picker there on the left side. We have two specifically columns selected. There's also a dashboard button in the upper right-hand corner that you would click to save this report and add a dashboard to it. And then here we have an example of a dashboard. This dashboard only has one query in it. That's why there's only that one tile, but it can have multiple. And you can see there's a workbook button in the top right, and you can click that to go back to the workbook view. So you can switch between them as you need. So with that, we will go ahead and get started with the demo and training. Let me share my screen for you guys. Give me just a moment. Okay, here we are. This is the Help Center, but let me just get into Report Builder here. I gotta log in again. Love that. Don't you love it when that happens? So this is the homepage for Daxko Operations, of course. I'm going to go over to where it says Reports. And then I want to show you guys, before we jump into the Report Builder demo, I want to show you guys specifically what is going away and what is staying. So custom reports here, that's what's going away. If I open that in a new tab, this is what it looks like. We have personal reports, shared reports, global reports, and then all includes everything. There's also a way to schedule reports in custom reports. So everything here, personal, shared, global, and any scheduled reports, that's what will be going away after that October 15th date. Whereas all reports, these are not going anywhere. All reports are sometimes called canned reports. These are just built into the Daxko Operations. They are not going away after that October 15th date. These are the same reports they here for programs. If we click on the Programs tab and you see the reports down here, these are these same reports. So when you click on membership, programs, childcare, fundraising, finance, and appointments, all the reports listed under those tabs, those are not going away. Also, these dashboards are not going away. The only thing that is going away is the custom reports, and that is on October 15th. So with that, we'll go ahead and go into Report Builder. The first page that it takes you to is called the Hub, and this is sort of like the landing page for Report Builder. It includes your organizations folder as well as standard reports. Our organization in this case is just a test organization. It's called Daxko, but this would be your organization's name here. And then we'll go ahead and click into standard reports. I wanted to show you guys these two icons over here. This eyeball icon represents how many views or how many clicks a report has gotten across all Daxko Operations clients. So if, for example, it's a report in the standard reports folder that your organization doesn't really use very often, but it has a lot of views on that eyeball icon, you know that other organizations are using it, and it might be useful to check out. There's also a star icon, and that represents your favorites. If it's highlighted, that means you've already saved it to your favorites, and if not, it means you haven't, I should say. You can click on that star to add it, and then it will show up in your favorites folder. Before I jump into that, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about this organization folder. You can add subfolders within it. So you can add, say, membership, finance, childcare, etc. You can add as many folders as you need here with this add folder button. You can also add subfolders within a folder. So I just wanted to highlight that for you. But now we'll jump into that favorite section. You can favorite folders as well as individual reports. Favoriting a folder is helpful if it's a place that you often save reports to, because it'll be easy to find in the save screen if you have a folder favorited. And then in my documents is similar to personal reports and custom reports. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys just to make sure you guys can see okay. In the My Documents section, this is sort of like personal reports and custom reports. I have everything saved in one folder here, but that is optional. The reason why I have it that way is hypothetically, if I ever were to leave my organization, I can very easily share everything in my Documents section just at one time by sharing this single folder. And how you can share a folder or an individual report. You click share, you search for the user, and you would select their name from this drop-down list. And then you would select which access level you want them to have. So viewer, editor, or manager. Viewer just lets them view the content. Editor lets them view and edit. And manager gives them pretty much everything you would have, all the permissions you would have over your own reports. So they can edit, add, delete content. They can manage who has access and so on. And this activity tab is very useful if you're ever working in custom reports, or in Report Builder, and you get pulled away to do something else in your organization. You get pulled away to take care of something. You come back and Daxko Operations has timed out. It needs you to log in again. And you're probably worried that you've lost your progress, but you haven't. You can always go to this activity tab and see the last thing you were doing. Even if you never saved it, if you were just building a report for the first time and you hadn't saved it yet, you can access right where you were in the edit process from this My Activity tab. We've already gone over the hub, so now we'll talk about shared with me. Back in the My Document section, when I was talking about the share functionality, if someone were to do that to share something directly with you, it would appear in your shared with me folder here. And of course, you can have folders or individual reports that are shared with you. Your organization's folder and the standard reports will automatically appear in your shared with me section. There's also this all content page. This has just everything that you have access to in Report Builder. will all show up here. So if you're ever not sure where something was saved, you can't remember where you saved it to, you can search for it in all content. Just look and see if you can find it. There's also a search bar. This search bar is on every tab, and it works the same way regardless of which tab you're on. It will search essentially all content that you have access to. You can type in a letter or a keyword, and it will pull reports or folders that match that letter or keyword. So it searches everything except the trash. The trash is where if you ever delete a report, it's never fully deleted. It will be moved to this section and archived, and you can restore it from here. So if you ever accidentally delete a report and need to get it back, you always can with this restore document button from the trash folder. With that, we will go ahead and get started building a report. So I'm going to click this new button here. The new button is available similar to the search bar in all the tabs, and it works the same way every time. So you'll just click that new button. And for our report today, I'm going to build two queries. The first one, I'm going to do active memberships by branch and membership type. So I'm going to click into the memberships subject area. And one thing I want to highlight, memberships here is just equivalent to units. So members is individual members and memberships is units. So I'm going to click into memberships, and I'm going to scroll down to the memberships topic. These top levels are known as subject areas. And when you click into a subject area, you can see all of the topics that are available within it. And remember, we had said the topic is the first step when building a new report, is you select a topic. So now that I've selected the memberships topic, I can see all of the tables that are available within it. And this button right here that I just clicked, this is, you can either expand all the tables or collapse all of them. It can be pretty handy to use. So to get started with this one, I want to highlight, these are the tables that we were talking about before as well. You can expand a table to see all of the individual fields within it. And we also have the icons here on the left-hand side of each field. This A icon represents a string field. So any categorical data, member ID would be an example, area code, branch name, any IDs or categorical information, email, first name, etc. Those will be string fields with this A icon. We also have this calendar icon, and it represents date or timestamp information. And you can expand the calendar icons to select which view you'd like. Raw will just give you all of the data that's available. So for example, if it's, say you're looking at facility usage and you want to see check-ins and you want to see the time and the date, you would click on raw because that gives you everything that's available. So if it's a field that has a time in it, raw will include that time. Whereas date will just show you the date, week will just show you the first date of that week, month will show you the month, quarter, year, etc. There's also a number icon. This represents number fields. So things that can be summed up, basically. Say if you're working in Excel and you want to add two cells together, they would need to be number cells. This is the same thing. So the number icon represents numbers, number data. So that is the tables, the fields, and the icons. For this query, I'm going to start with a filter. It's always best to start with a filter if you know of one that you need for your report. It can also be helpful to add a temporary filter, even if you know you're not going to keep it in the final report, just to make the build process data preview here load a little bit faster if you'd like. The filters are one of the best things you can do to help with load times, just because it reduces the amount of data that the tool is having to pull from. So we're going to do a filter on membership status, and I will show you that again just because I was moving a little bit quick. On the membership status field, I'm going to click this three-dot icon for field options, and then I'm going to click filter.
I'm so sorry, Michelle, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you zoom in on your screen? We've had a couple of questions about not being able to see. Can you just zoom in on your screen just a little bit?
Let's see, is that better for everybody? I
think we should be good there. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Okay, so we have the membership status filter here, and you can click into that where it says is any value. You can click into that and change the condition. There is equal to, contains, and there are also more options down here. We're going to click contains for our report, and then I'm going to select active. And the reason why I did contains is because if it is a unit that has a future termination date, their status will say active space terminate on, and then their future termination date. We want to include those because they're currently active still. So I'm doing contains rather than is equal to, so it pulls all of those currently active units. And I'm leaving match case turned on. That just means it's paying attention to the casing, so it will pay attention to this capital A. And that's because if it is an inactive unit, we don't want it to pull those just because it has the word active in it with a lowercase a. So I'm going to click update to apply that filter. And then we're going to go to add our columns. I'm going to want a branches column here. So I'm going up to the branches table and expanding it and then clicking branch. And that will pull in the first column for us. One thing I want to note is while it's loading your preview of data, you actually don't have to wait for it to load that. You can just keep adding the fields or as columns or filters that you'd like while it's loading that preview. So we've added branch, and now I'm going to go back down to the memberships table, and I'm going to add in membership type because, again, I'm wanting to see a list or a visual of how many units we have per branch and membership type. So now we have branch and membership type, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here and select the memberships count measure. You can see it's green. That's because it's what's called a measure field. The measures are fields that essentially aggregate data. This one is counting the distinct number of membership IDs, also known as unit IDs. So it's counting the distinct number of those per each of these rows. So we're combining branch and membership type, and it's showing us how many unique unit IDs match that branch and membership type. These measures can be built in by Daxko Operations. This is an example of one that's built in. You can also create these by going to field options, aggregates, count distinct. That will create a green measure field as well. Daxko is working on adding more of these measures over time, so look forward to that. There are a few already existing, such as this one. There's members count under the members table in the members topic, and there are a few more. I believe there's facility usage count as well. So we have our 3 columns, and now I want to view this in a chart so that I can visualize it a bit better. And I'm going to zoom out just a tad. Let's see if I can go between maybe 200 and 250. I can't. Well, I'll show you this and then I'll zoom back in. This is the table, and you can hover over these blocks to see the details within each one. And you can select a different chart type here. I'll zoom back in here. The auto charting feature essentially chooses a chart type for you. And if you choose a different chart type, it will automatically turn that off. But what it's doing is it's choosing the chart that it thinks represents your data the best. So I'm going to leave it on because I think that this, zooming back out for a second. If I click out of there, there we go. There we go. So this chart, I think it looks all right. So I'm going to leave it with this selection. And I'm going to go ahead and save this to a dashboard real quick. So I'm going to click this plus dashboard button to add this to a workbook. For the name of the report, I'm going to make it active memberships dashboard. And I'm just going to save that in my documents here. I'll save it in the enablement session folder. And this is also where if you have a specific folder saved to your favorites, you can access it really easy when saving a report. I'm going to just go ahead and save it there though. There we go. Okay, so now we have our dashboard view here. We have the chart. That is our first query, and you can also add other queries. I'll go over the dashboard a little bit more in just a moment, but for now, I want to go back to the workbook and add a second query to our dashboard. So I click that workbook button, and I will zoom back in for you guys here. And then I'm going to change, or excuse me, I'm going to add a query with this button in the bottom left-hand corner. So that will add a new query for us, and it's going to ask me how I'd like to start to choose my topic. I'm going to open up the members subject area, and I'm going to select the members topic here. So I'm in the members topic, and for this query, I want to make it a duplicate finder. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to add any filters to this one because I want it to be, I want it to pull everything, all my members that fit the columns I'm going to add. So under this members table, I'm going to scroll down to the first name field, and I'm just going to click on it to add it as a column. And then I'll scroll down to last name. You can also use the search bar if you'd like to find fields a little bit faster. You'll just need to make sure you select the table that you're wanting to pull from. So I'm looking in the members table because I want last names for our members, and I'll select that last name option. And then I want date of birth. So I'll just type in birth. I'm clicking this collapse all icon to collapse the table so I can choose my table a bit easier. Opening the members table. The date of birth option here is what I want, and I just need the date. So that's what I'll select underneath it. And then I just want the members count measure. There it is. It's this green one under the members table. And that will tell me the count of members, unique member IDs that fits with each of these rows. And I'm going to sort by it just by clicking on it here to pull the highest number to the top. You can also sort by clicking into this column actions menu. That three-dot icon will appear when you hover over the column name. And then you can click sort ascending or sort descending. So I'm going to leave this as sort descending. There's also a way to sort by multiple columns at once. So for example, I wanted to sort by member count first, but then I wanted it to sort by last name. So I want it to use both at the same time, but prioritizing members count. While I already have this first one sorted, I'm going to hold down the shift key on my keyboard and then click this column name to sort by it as well. And you can see the down arrow is still on this one, but now there's an arrow on this one as well to show that it's sorting by both. There's a multi-level sort going on here. And to do that, I just held down the shift key on my keyboard when I clicked the additional columns I wanted to sort by. And you can do that for multiple, not just two. So now we have this initial duplicates report, and I'm going to actually rename this query so that it represents that. And I'm also going to rename the first query. And again, to do that, I just clicked in this arrow for query options and then rename. You can also access that same menu by just right-clicking on the query tab and then rename. And this one was active memberships by membership type and branch. And I'll save that. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to click publish here. Actually, there's something I want to do in the dashboard first. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the dashboard. Okay, so now if I scroll down, you can see we have two queries in our dashboard. And if you want, you can click and drag these to move them to a different spot. So I want to view these side by side. So I just clicked and dragged it to move it up. If I zoom out just a tad here for a second, let me know if you guys can't see that. I believe this you should be able to see, but let me know if not. I just wanted to make sure you had a little bit of a wider view of these two queries here in my dashboard. So now that we have both of those, I want to show you guys how you can add a filter in the dashboard. The reason why you'd want to add it in the dashboard is because, say it's a report that you want to customize the filter each time you run it, like a membership type filter, and you want to select the membership types you want to see when you run the report. You can do that by adding the filter in the dashboard. So to do that, I'm going to click Add Filter. And then I'm going to just collapse this because I don't really want to see that right now. You can also collapse these if they're already open, any of them. But I'm going to search for membership type. And then I'll collapse these. Oh, I'm actually in this tab, so that makes sense. So in the memberships table here, I'm going to select membership type as my field and then click Add. And that's going to add a filter. And you can see this, there is a filter icon. If I'm clicked into this filter, if I'm clicked out, it might not show you, but if you're clicked into it, it'll show you this like little filter icon on the queries that the filter is connected to. So that just means this filter will apply to both of your queries if that icon is on both of them. And you can manually click one to disconnect it if you'd like. So for this filter, I'm going to change the name of it to just be membership type. And I'm going to change the filter type from advanced to multiple selection. And I'll leave that as a dropdown. And what that does is it's very similar to the in-list filter in custom reports, if you're familiar with that. So now that I have that in there, when I click in here, it will show me a dropdown of all of the available membership type values that I can select. So that is very useful for that similar in-list feature like custom reports. And you can select those each time you run the report. You can select the values that you'd like. You can select one or multiple just by clicking on these checkboxes here. And then after you select them, you would click that update button to apply your filter. But I am going to leave this report like this. This is how I'd like to have it. The bar up here, I wanted to go over. I think it's going to ask me to sign into Outlook. I think that's what that was. Sorry about that. The bar up here, there are three options. We have discard changes, publish, and leave draft. Publish will essentially save all of your changes to the final report so that if you or any other user runs this report afterwards, your changes will appear for them. They will take over the place of the final report that you can run. So you'd click publish if you want your changes to take effect, essentially. You can also click discard changes if you want to go back to your previous save. You don't want to keep any of the changes you made, you just click discard. Or you can click leave draft. Leave draft will save the changes in draft version. So it won't affect the final report when you're running it, but it will still be there when you go back into edit mode on this report. You'll jump back into where you were with these edits you've made. So that would be leave draft, but I like these edits and I'm done editing. So I'll go ahead and click publish to save my changes. And now we are in the dashboard view. And I want to highlight a couple things while we're here as well. There is an explore button and there's also an edit button to go back into the edit mode. The explore button is kind of similar to edit, but not quite. The difference is when you click explore, it will take you to a version of this report that you can edit. Only when you save your edits, it will save it as a new report. So it's basically a way to very quickly copy, make edits to, and save a new report without affecting the original. That's what this explore button does. And you can use that on standard reports. If there's a standard report that you'd like to make changes to, you can click that explore button and it will let you make any edits that you'd like and then save that as a new report. The edit, of course, will just edit this current report. And when you save your changes, it'll affect this current report. So those are those two buttons there. You can go back to the workbook view, even when you're not in edit mode, and view it from here. And then you can go back to dashboard with that dashboard button. From the dashboard, if I click File, Deliveries and Alerts, that is how you can schedule a report. You can schedule the entire dashboard, so all of the queries in the dashboard, or you can select a specific query that you'd like to send. And you can select the delivery name. That will determine what the schedule is called. So if you have multiple schedules set up for one report, you can have different delivery names depending on what you'd like to call that schedule. You can set it up you can send it right now if it's one that say it's a large report that takes a little while to load, if it's got a lot of data from different sources and you want to have it as soon as possible, but you don't want to sit here and wait for it to load. You can schedule it to send to you right now, and that way it'll just run in the background and send to you when it's finished. You can also set up a report to send on a recurring basis, daily, weekly, monthly. The custom option is a little bit complex. It uses a cron string, so I think the daily, weekly, monthly will be most useful for most people. You can select the day of the week, the time, and the time zone. You can also change in this chart section, you can change the format. So if what you're sending is a chart and you just want to be able to see it, sort of like a PNG or a PDF, two options would be good for that. If it's a table, like the duplicate finder, you'd probably want to select Excel or CSV. CSV is very useful if it's a report that has a lot of rows. Excel, the application, has like a built-in limit of, I believe, 1 million rows. So if your report has way more rows than that, or if you just have a row limit in Report Builder that is fairly low, and you can change that. I'll show you in a second. You can change that in the workbook. If you click CSV, send all possible results, it will send you all of the results, regardless of any row limit in Report Builder and regardless of, not paying attention to Excel limits because you're doing CSV. So if it's a large report with a lot of results, choose CSV and send all possible results to make sure you get all of those. You can also, since we have this membership type filter in the dashboard, you can select the value that you'd like to filter by for this specific schedule. And when you're setting up additional schedules, if you have multiple schedules for one report, you can choose this to be different each time, and each of the different schedules you set up. In the email tab, this is where you would enter your recipients. And it can be any email address. It does not have to be a Daxko Operations user. So any email address, you can enter the subject, the body of the email, and then you would just click save to save that schedule. And then you can subscribe yourself. You could also add yourself in that email tab if you want to as a recipient. You can do it either way. But after you have it set up, you can edit it with this 3-dot icon, edit. You can send it now. You can duplicate it, pause it, or delete it. You can also add a new one. You can add multiple, and you can make this new one for a different chart, a different tile, a different query, or you can do the entire dashboard. So you can do it any way you'd like in each of the schedules. You can choose different dates for different schedules. You can choose different formats, etc. So if you have multiple people in your organization that would use this report in different ways, you can kind of customize the schedule for their specific needs. So that is scheduling. You can also download a report with this file download option. And this will send you the entire dashboard. So you can choose the format, and it is going to send you the whole dashboard. Here you can select CSV and download all possible results as well when you're exporting/downloading a report. And if you want to just do one specific query and not the whole dashboard, you can use this tile options 3-dot icon here, download. And then that's just going to send you, or you would download this one query. You can, again, select the file type and the row limit. You can set to all possible results if you have it on CSV. So that is the download feature. I believe that's everything I wanted to cover in this session. So we will go ahead and jump into some Q&A. And I will stop sharing my screen here. There we go.
Hey. Hi, everyone. everyone. My name is Lauren Simmons. I am thrilled to join you all today. I am the team lead of customer enablement. I'm going to go ahead and give Michelle a second to grab some water, and we can jump into some Q&A. So I will go ahead and get us kicked off with that. One of the questions that we just received was, are the report builder overview and frequently asked questions available to expand all topics and download to PDF for reference? So in the Help Center, we do not have the option for articles specifically to be downloaded as PDFs. And that is because we are constantly updating them to make sure that they are up to date and just making sure that they're what we call evergreen for you all. For the practice exercises, you'll see that there are some PDF options on those, and those you can print out. But the actual articles themselves, you won't see the PDF option, just because, like I said, we want to make sure that those are frequently updated so that you guys can always check back and know that whatever's in our Help Center is going to be up to date, so to make your lives easier. So hopefully that answers that question. I'm going to go ahead and invite Michelle back. Welcome back. And then we'll go ahead and start jumping into some of the other types of questions that you all have. Another one is, if you work with multiple organizations that use operations and have different logins, can you create a report and copy the same parameters, share reports between organizations, or do these need to be manually created multiple times?
There is a way to copy a query from a report and import that into another report. So let me see. Let me just share my screen again real quick. Okay, can you guys see that? I believe it's showing. From the workbook, if you click into the query that you want to copy, I have to be in the edit mode real quick. Hang on. So you click that edit button when you're in the workbook, and then you click this down arrow or right click on the query and then duplicate. Oh, sorry. That actually duplicates it here. Copy to is what you'd need. Apologies. So copy to, and then you can copy that query ID. And then when you're in the workbook that you wanted to paste it into, you would go to the edit tab, import, and then paste that query ID and click import. So you can move or copy queries between reports. That would probably be the best way to do it if you wanted one specific query. You can also make a copy of a whole report. If I go to my documents here, let's go into this one. So when you're looking at the report, you click into this document options, duplicate, and that creates a new copy of the report itself, including all of its queries. And then you can choose where to save it. Now, you can't necessarily save it to a different organization's report builder, but what you can do is reach out to the Daxko customer service team, and they can make that report available in any other organization that you'd like to share it with. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, so we have another question that I'll kind of tag team here with you, Michelle. The question is, will all global reports under current custom reporting area be rebuilt by 10/15? So on October 15th, access to our custom reports and scheduled reports will end in Daxko Operations. However, we want to make sure that you're set up for success before that date, which is why we've made it easy to carry all of these forward and move over. All the metadata from your existing reports, such as table and column names, is preserved and available in the report mapping report inside the standard reports folder. And you can use that as your guide to recreate the reports in Report Builder. So Michelle, I would love if you could just walk us through a visual of what reports are staying, what's going away, and then again, where to find that report mapping report.
Yes. Okay, so if you're in Daxko Operations and you click on this report button, custom reports, this is what will be going away. I'm just going to open it in a new tab here. So in custom reports, we have personal, shared, global. There's also a way to schedule reports in custom reports. Everything in custom reports is what will be going away on that October 15th date. Whereas if I go back into this reports tab, all reports are not going anywhere. The dashboards are not going anywhere, but everything in custom reports will be going away after that October 15th date. When you're in Report Builder, let me go to the hub just by clicking back in there. So when you're in Report Builder, from the hub here, the first page, you can click into Standard Reports and scroll to the bottom. The report mapping tool is just at the bottom of this folder. And you can open that report mapping tool and you can actually search for, if you have a specific custom report that you'd like some help getting a starting point on rebuilding, you can go to that custom report and open it up. I already have one of them open here. And the URL for a custom report, there is a number in the middle of it. You can copy that number, and that is the report ID. It's the only number that's in the URL, and it's around the middle. So you just copy that number, and then you go in the report mapping tool, you put it in the report ID and click update. And then this will pull the table and column names for that report. I will mention you can also search by report name. I just personally like searching by the ID because I know it's pulling the exact one I want. And sometimes the names are similar across multiple reports. So as you can see, sometimes they're copied, so that you can pull multiple if you do it by name, if you have multiple that are named the same way. The report ID, you know you're pulling the exact one you want to see. So that's how you would use the report mapping tool. I do want to highlight one other thing, the standard reports. These standard reports are based on the top 20 most commonly used global reports from custom reports, rebuilt based on how many clients are using those within the global reports of custom reports. We picked the 20 that were used by the most amount of our clients across all of our client base in Daxko Operations. So if it is a global report that is not in the standard reports folder that you want to keep using, that would be one that you'd want to rebuild. Also, any personal or shared reports that you want to continue using, you'd rebuild those within Report Builder. So hopefully that answers it very clearly for you. We also have, sorry, Lauren.
That's okay.
I also wanted to mention the Help Center here. We have a lot of resources regarding Report Builder in our Help Center. You can access the training webinars again. All of these are recorded. If I'm in the Help Center and I go to Training Video Knowledge Hub, and then I click on Report Builder and Custom Reports, you can see Report Builder sessions. This will show you how to register for future sessions. And if you scroll down, you can see the recordings for past sessions. There is also a Report Builder overview. And this is just a video tutorial of an overview of Report Builder. And then we also have a lot of knowledge articles. If you click into the article section here, and then scrolling down, I'm under nonprofit, Daxko Operations, and I'm going to click into where it says Report Builder. And we have a lot of knowledge articles here already built out, and we're continuing to add more to these. Some of them are practice exercises. Some of them are just going over functionality within Report Builder. Some of them are going over how to, like, specific steps to rebuild a specific commonly used custom report. So we have a lot in here that can be very useful for everybody. This exercise is great if you're first getting started with Report Builder. It will walk you through building a basic report, but also go into the specific steps for many different pieces of functionality in Report Builder. We also have common terms, a lot of articles in here. So definitely worth checking out.
Thank you, Michelle. And yeah, to Michelle's point, we know, look, a webinar is quick. There's a lot to cover in a short amount of time. So, check back in our Help Center. I feel like our team is putting out new articles daily, but definitely weekly. And so there's new articles, new videos, all of that coming. So definitely stay tuned. And then, like she mentioned earlier, we have webinars that are coming. You'll hear about those soon for deeper dives that'll go through more of these nuanced situations versus, something quite so broad that we're doing doing today. So while we've got a few minutes left, we'll go ahead and jump into a couple of other questions. One of the questions that we received was, we hear that the reports refresh with data every 15 minutes. Does that mean we need to wait overnight to export, or just when all deposits for that day are closed?
That's a great question. Regarding specifically those deposits, I think I'll need to ask someone who's very familiar with that specific functionality, because the data in Report Builder updates every 15 minutes. That's true. But if it's something that outside of Report Builder is only ready once per night, so like if that deposit process requires an overnight refresh on its own outside of Report Builder, I would say it's probably safest to wait. But if that's not the case, all the data in Report Builder refreshes every 15 minutes. So in custom reports, it was nightly. So for regardless of what it was, you'd have to wait and export in the morning after, I think it was like maybe 8, 9, 10 a.m. Whereas in Report Builder, it's every 15 minutes. So as long as the data is there in Daxko Operations and updated about every 15 minutes, it will be updated in Report Builder as well.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so another question, and I think I'm going to add to this question, is can you add new field options? For example, original date of balance or return date. And then the part where I'm adding, if there is a field that's maybe missing that someone needs, how would they go about getting that submitted to be added?
That's a great question. Okay, so while I'm in the Help Center, I will show you guys under resources, share your product ideas. We have a product enhancement request form, and you can send in details regarding Report Builder here, but there's also an easier way to do it. If you're in Report Builder, there is a give feedback button right here, and you can click on that to share your specific, if there's a field that you can't find that doesn't seem to exist in Report Builder that you would love to see, or say cross-topic ideas that you'd like to combine, you can enter all the details here and send it directly to our product team to review. So that would be probably the easiest way, is this give feedback button. But we do also have that enhancement request form in the Help Center. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. So another question that we received was, will the constituency reports used for YUSA reporting be rebuilt? This is a great question. We are actively developing those help articles like we've mentioned and practice exercises to support this. So we'll be walking you all through that. In the meantime, sorry, Microsoft is giving me a hard time. In the meantime, if you have a specific need, just let us know, like Michelle mentioned, and we'll make sure that it's reviewed by our team. So just keep us in the loop. As far as another more functionality-based question, can you place a standard report in a personal folder and then edit it?
Yes. So in Report Builder, if I'm in the standard reports and I open up this one here, if I click this Explore button, it will open up an edit view for this report. And then when I'm done with my edits, I can click this plus dashboard button, and then I can save it to my documents. So anytime you want to make edits to and then save a standard report as a new report, you can use that Explore button from the standard report itself. Okay. Go back to that hub page. That's that button right there.
Awesome, thank you. All right. Last question I believe that we'll have time for today, but do we have the ability to customize which reports appear in our dashboards?
If you're talking about these dashboards, these are built in and they are being added to. But if you're talking about your dashboards in Report Builder, those you can build any way you need. You can add queries to them. You can remove queries. You can copy a query from one report into another to customize a dashboard view for a given report. These icons here, if it has less lines, it means that it's a report without a dashboard. If it has more lines like this one, it means it has a dashboard. So each individual report can have a dashboard with multiple queries in it, and you can add queries, take them away, or copy them from one report to another to customize that dashboard view however you need.
Awesome. All right. Well, I know that there were a lot more questions than what we were able to get through during the session today. So please know that our team is going through and we will make sure that all of your questions are answered. We will update the FAQ article that's in the Daxko Help Center within the next couple of days. So keep an eye on that, and we'll make sure that anything that wasn't answered in today's session is added to that list of questions. So definitely keep an eye out. You will receive an email from our team with the recording and then also the FAQ document attached to it. And then it, as mentioned before, will also be in our help center. So if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Let us know. Thank you so, so much for all of your time. We look forward to serving you all very well, and excited to see how things go and continue working with you all. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.